Welcome to this meeting organized by our forum, which deals with the luxury brands opportunities in such important markets as Russia and China, but of course on the overall market. We want to first thank some people who are helping us to organize this meeting. First of all, the speakers who will talk about the two main markets. Svetlana Kuprianova, General Manager for Carrera y Carrera, which I don't see currently where, if it sits here around. Hello, Svetlana. And then the representatives of Havas Media Group from Milan, Italy, Gianmario Motta and Antonella De Nicola, who will make the presentation of a recent research made in China about the Chinese market, followed by a general interchange of views with all the attendants to this meeting. This is the program for today. This program of meetings, we have run already a few, thanks to the organization of Tamara Piroskova, who is our general manager, our representative here for Catalonia, and also the marketing director of the forum. Also, we want to thanks for the support of Rothman, one of our partners, who is opening a visit for all of us to the stand and the boats that are here in this beautiful trade show. And of course, we can also have to thank the cooperation, the contribution of Fira de Barcelona through the Salón Náutico, who is where we are here located for this presentation. As probably most of you will know, Forum, the leading branch of Spain Forum, is an institution that is compounded by first 100 leading brands in Spain of different fields, which have strong brands with international presence, and also with the support of the Spanish public administration, the ministries and organizations which really are supporting the export and internationalization of Spanish companies and their products and services. Well, I hope this meeting will be useful for everyone, and we open the presentation with Svetlana, who will explain to us the opportunities and how to deal with such an important market of Russia for the luxury products. She's Russian, so she knows that pretty well, although she's managing one company, one Spanish company from Madrid for the world. Russia is just one more market. I mean, she's dealing with many markets where the Carrera is selling their beautiful products. So, Svetlana.
Hello, my name is Svetlana Kuprianova, and I would like to explain a bit customer needs and customer behavior in Russia and in emerging market in general, and what is difference between emerging and mature markets. So I would like to present some interesting model what I personally like a lot. It's a model of need scope which explains needs of customers because customers buy luxury product not because they need it, because they have different personal needs to do it. And this model built up in base of human being psychology. So we can share all people by extrovertive and introvertive part of personality, and in case of what in case of how do they want to present themselves in society. Hi. Some of them want to be on top. They want to dominate in the group of people, and another one want to belong to this group. So, accordingly of this model, there are 6 different needs to buy product. Some of customer wants to have status. They buy something, for example, this boat, because it is status things. They want to show to everybody else they are on top, they are successful, and they dominate in society. Another one want to buy this boat because they want to be exceptional. They want to attract attention and to be in the middle of this attention, to be different. For another people, this boat could be realizing of their dream. They dream about this boat whole their life, and now they have opportunity to have it. Another guy can buy this boat because they want to be in the group. They want somehow he becomes be rich, and they want to belong to a group of rich people. For some of people, it could be just comfortable boat to travel. But some people could buy this boat because it's rational behavior. They just want to buy this boat and after sell it with a profit. The same kind with jewelry. We can explore the same kind of behavior of the customers. I would like to share with you how Russian customers looks like. It's very interesting because Russian society mostly extrovertive. If you remember, this part of model extrovertive nature of population. It's strange, but 20% of Russian women want to be dominative, and 25% just want to realize their dreams. Interesting difference between behavior of men and women. You see 8% of women behave rational, but twice more in the men group. So if you want to position your brand in Russian market, you should understand what is your customers, what is the most important needs you would like to use for your advertising and for your promotion. And what difference between emerging market and mature market? And different behavior in generations. Young generations, they are aliens. They are very different, and if your brand position in the people who is younger than 20, you should be different from your own opinion and from your own needs. And in emerging market, older generation always out of the market. And most important group, 30, 35, 55 years old. Could anybody recognize who is this guy? This guy who was born in USSR, and his father died when he was 4 years old, and his mother husband died when he was 1 year old. And he grew up in families of his relatives, and he was very poor, and he didn't be able to have university education because he had to work. And he started his career like a worker, and in late 18s he started his own business. To understand difference between emerging market and mature market, it's absolutely necessary to place yourself on his place. This man is Roman Abramovich. So just imagine how feels this guy when he became very fast, he became very rich. what is his needs. I think it's a very good example to explain behavior of customers. First of all, in pent-up demand. He didn't be able to buy anything for himself. He didn't have any money. Sometimes he didn't have money even to buy dinner. And after, he wants to be exceptional because he feels himself like somebody very different who did it, who now become the rich from 140 millions of Russians. And he wants to belong to the group of rich people. It's not easy for him because he didn't grow up in a rich family. He didn't understand how to behave there. So he needs to have some status things to demonstrate his right to be in this group. And partly he demonstrates a rational behavior because he has this fear to be angry, and he bought I don't know how many tons of flats and palaces and boats and everything, because inside he afraid to be hungry again. He demonstrates very interesting behavior in case of luxury. Luxury is something what you don't need at all, and he bought a lot of boats from 100 millions till 1 billion euro each, and he spends every year from 12 till 50 millions euro just to maintain them. The losses of Chelsea Group is 1 billion euro each year, but he wants to do it. It's not rational behavior. It's partly status, partly belonging, and partly exceptional behavior. And in general, key points for luxury. Luxury is tax. It's tax for easy and fast money. So if you want to be successful in emerging market, you should always remember about corruption. Corruption helps a lot to grow up your business. As well, it's very interesting and very important to understand fast growing of GDP, because it leads people to spend money easily. To buy something what you don't need, you should have optimism and you should be confident about your future. And you should understand, my neighbor, this poor guy who didn't have parents, he became rich very fast. So I have opportunity to do the same. So I don't keep my money for the future. I don't keep my money for my old time. I want to spend it to demonstrate my status or my dream, or I want to demonstrate my belonging to the group of rich people. So interesting how growing of luxury market depends of crisis. And I would like to prove my words in the years when customers lost optimism and lost this confidence about future, market fall down very rapidly and very fast. About Russia, if you want my advice, you're very late to go there. If you have opportunity, please invest to somewhere else. Because accordingly, statistic, Russia has very weak economy, and unfortunately, Russia has no opportunity to grow up next 5 years at least. Because growing of economy depends on three things: is technology, is equality of population, and resources. Russia has only resources, so I don't predict any strategical growing there anymore. But if you read newspapers, you can find a lot of things. It's not it is not important now, because it's just politically correct term how to denote the slowdown of the Russian economy. So if we will be back to key points of luxury market, there are some easy money now in Russia, but not much anymore. There are no fast-growing GDP anymore. People don't believe to the future and not confidence of this future. So if you have opportunity, you should go somewhere else. Russian economy not strong anymore. It has politically unstable situation. It is not emerging market. So if you want to have success, you should pay attention to Asia Pacific, to China. Even Japan is now better than Russia. If you have a question about Russia or about any emerging market, you can ask now. Okay, no question.
Thanks you all so much for coming to this presentation. My name is Gianmario Motta and I lead the Lux Hub in Milan. We're based in Milan, one of the most fashionable cities in the world, where 2 years ago Avast Media launched this division that is vertical on fashion and luxury business. It's a panel of experts in strategy, communication, planning and content providing for luxury brands. This division works on the luxury market worldwide, and also in China we have 4 offices. Today we are here to present you some strategic consideration to communicate with the Chinese luxury consumers. We call this methodology and research the Chinese luxury consumer journey. To do this, I want to introduce you Antonella De Nicola. She's the head of strategy of Avast Media in Milan, and she will talk you about this research.
Buenas tardes. Is it right? Okay. Good evening. Today, we will look at only 5 key points. The first one is the profile of the Chinese luxury good. And second, we will look at a method we have developed to understand the customer journey. Third, we will look deeper into the Chinese customer journey, looking at barriers and opportunities for the traditional and online purchase experience. Fourth, we'll examine the Chinese expectation in e-commerce. And finally, my colleague Gianmario will share with you some strategic recommendations in order to communicate to the Chinese customer. So, the fact that we are here to talk to you about China is definitely not a surprise for you. As you know, in 2012, Greater China has grown double-digit, over 20% in terms of luxury good building, and the expectation for the future is still optimistic. You have to know that in 2015, Chinese customers will represent 34% of the luxury market, and 50% of them buy luxury goods both in mainland China and abroad. So you have to know that they visit your stores in different regions of the world. We can divide it, of course. Chinese population is the same source in 4 clusters. These are 4 clusters that we commonly use to classify target market in fast developing country, in BRICS countries. So the first one is baby boomers. They are over 55, retired or retiring, and mostly men. The second one is Generation X. They are 35 to 55, and they are at the peak of their career, men and women. Third, generation Y. They are younger, 20 to 35, and they are just earning money, starting earning money, and they are the second generation affluent. And in general, in China, this generation have very huge, very important personal assets because of the one-child policy government. So they are the one child of their family. And the fourth youngest cluster is Generation Z, that are allowed to spend and show off their parents' money. All these clusters need and look for a different shopping and brand experience. For example, baby boomers are interested in status, exclusivity, selling ceremony, personal relation. Middle ages are interested in sense of membership, customized relationship, while the youngest are looking for something that is unique, that helps them to be considered as trendsetter. This is very important for them. And what they want a 24/7 customized entertainment and a 360 degrees experience. The Chinese affluent taste has rapidly changed from the desire for a prominently displayed logo to the quest to more exclusive, no-logo luxury products. As you can see in this slide, the new entrants to the upper middle class are pro-logo and are focused on premium brands. Instead of the ultra-wealthy and wealthy people are more for absolute luxury. At the moment in China, we have 256 million Chinese that are considered affluent. That means that they have an annual household income in excess of 100,000 euro. Here you can find some other important trends in China. For example, 600 million users surf the internet every day and 74% access through mobile, and e-commerce is growing by double digits. Instead of traditional social gifting, consumers are more often self-gifting. The most important prospects in China are Aries, Dings, and finally women. Nowadays, microblogging is now sometimes spreading a negative buzz around the ostentation or luxury. And finally, there are more parties and more social dinners, and men and women under 35 are the main trendsetters. So, we have a lot of data, a lot of Chinese insights, but what is the most suitable approach to engage Chinese affluent? The more we focus on youth, the more the shopping, the communication approach should be channel integrated, or even better, an omni-channel approach. Omni-channel means that the brand storytelling has to be continuous and consistent through every point that the consumer touches, and we usually call them touch point. So, for an effective omni-channel approach, don't interrupt the customer experience. Don't measure results only in terms of purchases, but evaluate the flow interaction capabilities. If you have to implement an omni-channel approach, you have to know something very well. You have to know what are the most relevant touch points. How we can implement a multi-channel and omni-channel strategy in China that is really able to generate engagement. And what are the points of convergence between the physical store, e-commerce, social media, and promotional events? In order to achieve this knowledge, we have developed a method. We use the custom base of a brand to run a survey. And thanks to this survey, we dissect and we investigate the customer journey of Chinese affluent in order to understand how activate or reactivate them. In order to share with you some general findings, we have run this survey, we have used this method on a multi-brand customer panel that collected 1,000 Chinese purchases of this brand, here displayed it, very well-known brands like Gucci, Giorgio Armani, Chanel, in the last 3 years. And the recruitment for this panel was in the tier 1 in China. This means the coastland, including the main cities of Shanghai and Beijing. What did we learn from this survey? At first, that the main occasion for purchasing luxury goods are self-rewarding, social, friends and family gifting, and third, to celebrate the main Chinese festivals. There are 3 main Chinese festivals: New Year, Labor Day, and the Autumn Festival, when about 130 million of Chinese go abroad, and they are ready to purchase everything they like. We also know that the 80% of purchases are made by the traditional channel, and both in mainland China or abroad, where it is supposed that the shop assistant is able to speak Mandarin. When the shopping experience is done online, it's become very important for the brand to be present on a multi-channel website of e-commerce. And what is very interesting on this data, that even though Chinese commonly used to surf the internet by mobile, very few of them declare to have e-commerce by M-site. So surprisingly, few brands actually have a multi-device contact strategy. This is a gap we suggest pursuing. We have to fill this gap, absolutely, if we want to enter this market. One of the main differences between online buyers and traditional buyers is how clear they are about the product they want to purchase. Among the online purchasers, 67% already exactly know what they want. This means that before arriving to the e-commerce site, before filling the shopping cart on e-commerce, they have already experienced the product or the brand by other touch points. For example, they have already been in your traditional boutique. They have already expressed an interest in this product with the shop assistant, and they go away without buying it. But if we had collected this information, we could have later customized his online shopping experience. Unfortunately, many times we don't do it. The traditional purchases is commonly associated to comfort, luxury, exclusivity. They want to go to the boutique to live, to feel the exclusive flavor. And secondly, they trust bricks and mortar more than e-commerce. Because in China, it's very common to be tricked on fake websites, the clone of real website, and accidentally to buy fake products. So if we want to sustain the e-commerce channel, we have to have a certification of authenticity that helps them to trust in our e-commerce website. To the online experience is associated the perception of convenience and comfort, but also of the sense of experience and entertaining. Chinese believe that in internet they can find everything they need. They think to find on the internet every kind of product detail, every piece of brand heritage history. So this strategy has to sustain the content availability. Content availability in terms of language, platform, and devices is fundamental. What is in common between traditional and online purchases is always the low perception of customized product or service. This is a pity. This is a lost opportunity for us, because a brand that wants to address a premium positioning has to be able to personalize, to customize the experience, the product or the service. Here we have the last part of this search, of this survey. We have analyzed the power of touch points to be meaningful, to be powerful in building brand awareness and intention to buy. We put all these touch points in a map with two variables. On the horizontal X, we can read the ability of the touch point to reach the target market of affluent Chinese. On the vertical axis, the capability of the touch point to influence the building, the brand awareness and the intention to buy. Here we are, the touch point we analyzed, divided with different colors in terms of online touch points, offline contents, and so on. And here we have, three different main areas. The first one at the top on the right, we call it high priority, are touch points that are very important, that should be the highest priority to enter the Chinese market in terms of good communications, because they are very powerful, not only in terms of coverage, but also in terms of influence. And here we can find something like the brand official website, celebrity endorsement, this is very important in China, word of mouth, face-to-face or from blog or forum, and search engines, of course. Always on the top, but on the left side, there is an area that where the mantra is drive traffic, because it's the area of high potential touch point, but with a low coverage on the target market. And here we can find the official brand page on social network. So it's very important to build a contact strategy that drive traffic to the social network brand fan page, because when Chinese discover these contents become very powerful to build a bonding with the brand. The last area has done by one-on-one contact point, catalog received by email, newsletter received by SMS, text, newsletter. So they are one-to-one contacts, but many times with a mainstream content. The content is not personalized, is not customized, because we don't have data enough, or we don't know the history of these customers to tell them something that is personal. That's why the powerful in terms of relevance is very low. So we have to work on meaningful content on this touch point. And I'll go very, very short. We can broken this data down different demographic cluster. Here is done by age, but we can use this survey to look into different clusters in terms of gender, local area, and so on. And this last chart is different from the previous one, because this shows the powerful of this touch point, not in terms of brand awareness, but on purchase. So that's it. I'll show you the Chinese profile, the best insights we have to know to approach this market, and the expectations in terms of e-commerce and traditional purchase experience. Now I will pass the presentation over to Gian Mario.
Thank you, Antonella. I just want to quickly wrap up what Antonella said in this presentation and focus on three areas that are very important to approach this culture and this market to communicate. The fundamentals are very important areas to be focused on. First of all, contents are the most important element to work on. Remember that for a sensor problem and for technical reasons, Chinese customers don't have all the information that other people in the world have. So you have to work with localized content, with the right sources, and do it constantly with the brand, rebuilding what in the past Western brand built with their history and heritage. The second important point is to work in a specific way on the technology, because Chinese use different touch points, use different sizes, have their dedicated social networks, use in particular mobiles, as Antonella said before. So it's very important to have a particular expertise and to work on the right technology for this particular area of the world. The third point, and the last one, is to work with continuity, because the relationship you have to build with this consumer is particularly important, not only when the consumers are in China, and if you are focused to have your own boutiques and shops in China, but also if you want to have these consumers in your boutiques in other parts of the world. These are the 3 points where we want to finish this presentation. I hope it's interesting for you, and if you want, later we can go on and deeper on these contents. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you very much also to House Media Group. We are a little bit front of time, which is good because we have a lot of time for a general discussion, which I hope is going to be interesting right now. I'm not going here to talk, it's just because we have one mobile macro and one this, so I'm going to stand here, and everybody who wants to ask questions is going to participate. I do have a very first question to both of our speakers, because you both mentioned this digital era, which is inevitable to talk about, this internet, social networking. And my big question is, until now, luxury brands and premium brands, they've been always considered like addressed to a very narrow target. You're talking a very specific language and you go through a very specific channels, while internet actually is connecting to everybody. So I can go on a social networking. Who do I talk to? You spoke about personalized conversation with the customer, but who's on the other side? I mean, how do luxury brands deal with this real necessity to be accessible online and the fact that they're actually communicated to only few exclusive ones?
Only some brands are exclusive and premium luxury brands. The majority of brands needs to have a dialogue to their fans and to use these channels to provide a service where they cannot be reached by their customers, and also to develop their visibility using different kind of touch points, because consumers are not selecting in the right way or distinguishing really from a touch point or a channel to another. They want to use Facebook and they get messages, information from their peers, because they don't just see all the contents, but they are influenced by the persons that are their friends and communicate directly with them. So brands need to have an official position to express in the right way their contents and to present their information about them, because on these tools, on these networks, other persons are looking for information about products and brands, and maybe are producing contents about your brand. So it's important that every brand leverage and understand what is the right set of tools that they really need to use for particular areas or and cultures, as we have seen in our research, and communicate in a consistent way to using all the touch points they can use.
Okay, thank you. Maybe also I would like to explain that it's very difficult to be exceptional if nobody understands you are exceptional. So a part of marketing a luxury brand is create a dream. You can't demonstrate your health status if nobody else understands it. And compare with internet and online sales is very important to be consistent with your brand positioning. It should be proper communication. It should be high quality website, and I don't think it is problem if somebody else, not your target auditory, will come to this brand and understand who you are, because in the future this young girl or young boy could be your customer. So you create your awareness before this guy or this girl could buy something, could realize this dream. So dream is one of the most important, to create dream is one of the most important part of branding. Compare with online sales. In China, there is special behavior. They used to buy product in internet. They used to buy product in online stores. But for example, in Russia, it's completely impossible. It's just few people can do it because it's not usual behavior of customers. And additionally, there is no proper infrastructure for delivering, for insurance, and so on. So it's necessary, before you will do something on the internet, it's necessary to understand customer behavior and be very strong in your positioning. It's my opinion.
I've been looking at this luxury market. You both, in your presentation, mentioned that there are like 3 levels of luxury goods. Those are really like top luxury. Then there is a bigger market which is aspirational, and then there is, let's say, more widespread luxury, premium, gourmet, whatever product, where actually, according to the numbers, from more than 200 billion euros market is actually 80% where those brands are. But if we are looking at Spanish brands in Spain, actually altogether, estimated 140 companies in this industry is making only 3% of this market. So my question here, there are some brands, Spanish brands who deal with, I mean, there is a huge potential looking at that, but what can the luxury brands in Spain learn from the international companies so that they can go, maybe again, we start with the speakers, because they can have this look, and then I would like also to know your point of view.
I think that the most important points today are to be ready to target exactly the communication to the right customers, because we all are every day targeted, and we receive too many information continuously. So it's very difficult for a consumer, a user, to be to go on with this kind of relationship that we told before in a right way. So it's particularly important for brands to be able to produce content relevant and to give the services that their customers really need. This is one of the most difficult points that the brands are trying to afford now, and this is one of the points I think important in this at the moment.
And we always think we are not perfect. So I think the most important, always think you are not perfect, and learn from anybody.
Well, I have a special request for Russia. I think that not only for luxury goods, but that's also a plus. We are facing difficulties to size the market segments because there's a lack of information, let's say, like no Nielsen panels, no data that we can sort out. So there's very difficult to size, which is the actual business potential that our products might have in Russia. Because we do say, okay, 140 million people, great, a lot of money. Like Abramovich, there's only one and it's living in the UK mainly, so it's not in Russia. So if we are luxury goods targeting luxury segment, my question is, how do you size that segment?
It compares my presentation or in general. In general, I can tell you one story. I visited India this summer with our responsible person for this region, and we joked, if you would like to understand size of the market of shampoo, for example, you will count how many people, 1.2 billion Indians live there, and they will use, I don't know, 10 grams of shampoo every day, but they don't want to do it. So you're always wrong. And there are different ways how to understand it, and because I really don't know what is your fashion, I can tell you 40-50% of all market it is Moscow and St. Petersburg. So Russia is country with just few people who lives in the city. Tier 2 city don't have any potential for fashion, only for low cost clothes. So count 15 city, more than 1 million is your target. Average percentage, 60% of people are very poor, 30% middle class, and 10% very rich. So you can account your market.
Thank you, that was okay. Then, what about the people like Abramovich that live abroad? So we size their market as being like very interesting because there's very rich people on the top of the pyramid, but most of them do shopping in Europe or in the States, but not in Russia. So again, it's for me, I find it very difficult to size the real business potential that luxury goods may have in Russia. Have you, for instance, have you realized how many, let's say, potential consumers that could buy in Vereskaya store go to Madrid, for instance? Because I mean, I don't know what about the audience thinks about it, but all of our main cities in Spain and the flagship store do have Russian sales teams. So the question is, do the Russians wealthy that we are targeting buy actually in Russia, or do they purchase abroad?
It's a good question, and I think Russia has this image of a very rich country because it has very high level of custom duty. So average price for clothes, for example, more than 20-30% higher than anywhere else. So it is reason why exists this strange kind of behavior to go for shopping somewhere else, not to buy inside in the country. But you will be surprised, only 15% of Russians have foreign passports to go abroad. So compare with Spain, Spanish government did a lot of efforts to increase quality of Russians to come here. And it was increased 3 times last 3 or 4 years. I don't remember, but I have data. If you want, I can share with you. So here in Spain, you have a lot of Russians, and they occasionally buy everything here just because it's normal, rational behavior. They have opportunity, they have time, they have money, and they have good mood here. So they are ready to buy outboard. Percentage, how I tell you, is should be, I think, 20% of purchasing.
If you have any questions, please feel free. It's an open conversation. I don't pretend to dominate it. But related to this, actually, I found some data that if you compare the purchases, especially in Europe, in the luxury market and the premium market, the biggest part of sales is done by tourists. Tourists come in from China, from emerging markets like from South America, from Brazil, Mexico, China, India, Japan. They come into Europe. Russians here come into Europe. So the European luxury market is actually stagnant, and the Europeans are not spending money on it. But anywhere you go to the luxury, I don't know, call them hubs, like Dubai today, or like it could be some time ago Italy or South France for those people who do really want to spend money. So if we talk about the Russians or the Chinese, that those are 2 markets we spoke today, luxury brands should be better positioned in those touristic destinations than in their own market if we are talking about emerging markets. I mean, a Russian guy should find a shop of, can I call brands who are sitting here? We have the list. I mean, these are from Pronovias, okay? This is the wedding gowns. They have a top-end luxury dresses there. So what should the companies, the brands do? They have an impressive shop just in the middle of Passeig de Gracia or Paseo de la Castellana or everywhere outside Russia so that a Russian consumer get impressed and purchases, or they should be in Russia and they should build their brand there, and also Chinese.
It's necessary to do both, and additionally it's necessary to understand behavior of tourists. For example, Barcelona and Madrid, or for example, Greece, Crete and Dubai, tourists there have different behavior. For example, for shopping hubs like Kuala Lumpur, like Singapore, like Madrid, they stay more or less average 3 days. So they don't have time to hanging around to find special places. Usually they go to the most famous and most recognizable shopping mall. If you are not there, you are done. So it's better to not open anything despite open somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And for sure it's necessary to be known before they come to any market. just a moment. And for example, if they go mostly to the beach and they spend 1 week, the average stay, or Dubai is an interesting place because average stay there 7 days. And there they have time to go and to visit different shopping malls.
Only one thing. Some European luxury brands are cutting their investments in terms of new openings in mainland China because they understand that they are more focused on more exclusive venues. So their strategy is changing. Few venues, but more exclusive. So the answer is really both. Because of people travel, because people talk about you on social networks, and the discussion is always open and liquid. The content is liquid.
I keep on asking. If anybody wants again, please feel free. We are talking about this physical presence because you need to get this experience in shop. It's known that if you feel yourself like an exclusive, any customer, any client, but if you're an exclusive one, you want to be treated well. We're talking about human resources. In this sector, those people who are working in the luxury sector, what do you think? Is these people, they need different training? Is it different people? They need how to talk to Abramovich and people like that to be able to sell a thing? Or is it that the brand and the aspiration does already the job?
No, definitely, it's very important, the training for the person that you have in the shops, and we are also developing a method to measure the shop experience and the e-commerce experience, because the challenge is to transmit to make people live the flavor of exclusivity, not only in the store, thanks to the venue, thanks to the shop assistants, but also on the e-commerce. So you have to score, you have to monitoring that exclusivity is in your both purchase channel.
HR is very difficult and for luxury, mostly because we met some problems with people, with staff, with sales staff, for example. They are sure this product is very important because they compare price with their own ability to buy it. So it's first one. Secondly, they don't feel confident to speak with rich and important people how they understand the customers. And after, they demonstrate different kind of behavior. They try to be arrogant, and it is funny, and it's not proper behavior for them. Or they tried to speak on the knees, please buy my product, it's very good, and so on. And it's very important for sales staff to ensure them and to give them reasons to believe to the brand, reasons to believe to their product, and they should increase self-confidence to work with this kind of people, that kind of people like Abramovich. It's my opinion.
Sorry. One thing, I think it's interesting. Chinese people is very interesting to spend a lot of time in the shop, in the stores, and they ask to the shop assistant to talk about the brand heritage, the brand history, because of they want to be sure to buy a product that is that is able to show off their new status of affluent people. So sometimes the assistants, they are paid on the basis of the time they spend with the customers.
Another question, which is about, we are focusing very much, because you are not participating, we are focusing very much on China and Russia, but if somebody else wants to bring a different market into conversation, I think both from Havis Media Group experience and also from Carrera, we can share other markets as well. A question is, when we talk about luxury and premium brands, we spoke about tourists, okay? But also there is this different, we're talking now about who's buying that. We have very rich people who can afford, but then we have this, maybe you've heard several times about this, Henrys, like people who have high earnings, not rich yet. You actually mentioned about this in China, like they want their easy money to spend it immediately on something that could be easily seen. I mean, it's not like people who don't want any logo to be seen, they do want the logo, but they do spend this money very fast. This is a tendency, I mean, more like something that is going to be for a few months, or this is something that is in luxury market for long, it's always present.
I think that they don't spend their money very fast because of Henry's in particular, spend their money, they purchase luxury good with their productivity rewarding, that is once a year. And they spend something like 4 or 5 weeks to understand which is the best luxury product to buy with this productivity rewarding. So they think a lot about the product to purchase, and this is an opportunity for us because of the time length of the customer journey is quite long to engage these customers more times during this path. It's an opportunity. They are not rich yet, so there are few moments during the year that the luxury goods are really affordable for them.
Couple of more questions and we are going, and I do not know, because you're not participating, sorry to repeat it again, but I don't know whether you feel it's interesting, you want to keep me asking, because I think the answers are very, very interesting. I've been looking through, we were talking about China and Russia, and I've been looking at what's happening on other market, and it seems like the United States and Japan markets show those signs of getting recovered. And for European brands in general, and for Spanish brands, because we are here with the Spanish Association of Leading Brands, maybe the message is, do you think, this is from wider experience, that the United States market is the one for example, to focus on today with the future perspectives, or is it better to focus on emerging markets?
Carrera has subsidiary in Japan, and Japan and USA, they are competitors for many years. And if you will explore history of USA, you will see always after crisis, American economy had double growing compared with Japan. But from another hand, USA has very high barrier to entering. If you have, if you are able to spend humongous money, if you want to invest to this market, you can go there now, or you can wait, because it is already very difficult. It is recovering, and it is doing not bad now. So, but American market, USA market needs to invest a lot. Compared with Japan, it is very interesting situation because Japanese now are not traveling so hard like before, and they prefer to purchase everything inside of the country. So now it's not bad situation, slightly growing up, but mostly stagnating. And what is interesting in Japan, purchasing power now in hands of very old people, in hands of people older than 60 years. And our customers in Japan, average age of them 60, 80. Really. So if you want my advice, it's better to go to emerging market. At least it is easy. Latin America is emergence. Latin America is emergence market. Latin America, especially Mexico, Colombia is new driver, and it is growing up very rapidly. Argentina now is in bad situation, economically bad situation. Brazil, unfortunately, closed market for us because of a very high duty, custom duty. So Latin America is all countries there, not all, but most part of the countries there are emerging, especially Mexico, especially Colombia. And one thing more, Chile, Peru, Ecuador are very difficult for us because people don't have this behavior to wear jewelry because it is dangerous.
The only comment is we hope to be here the next year because we will talk about Nigeria. This is the answer, Nigeria.
No, this is actually a very good answer because in Africa, some African countries, they're really selling to some extent a very top end, no, far end of luxury goods. But of course, the percentage of the population in general, Africa, global population is not that huge, and rich people is not. But of course, there is a demand because those people they do want, like many kings in Africa yet. One last question from my side. It is actually about how the brands should position themselves in this mono-brand store, exclusive brand store, or multi-brand store. Because what you were talking about, like shopping malls, sometimes you have this area where there are lots of brands. I know the answer will be both, but my question goes a little bit further. Like this, is it really, do you think it is sustainable in time that luxury and premium brands, they are not single-standing mono-brand stores with this experience and they are somewhere where they are all together? Or they should really try to be exclusive, and as you were saying, it's better to have one store where you're differentiated and not be with some other 20 brands next to you competing in the same area?
My personal opinion is that to have a presence focused on mono brands helps more to transmit the real heritage, the real flavor of the brand, and also to manage the relationship with the customers. Using multi-brand don't help in this way. In terms of services, the presence in a mono brand can be more added with other tools that a brand can directly use there to communicate using technology than in other multi-brand in places like this.
For jewelry market is difficult question because we have very strong competitors who usually come to the market by themselves with mono-brand boutiques. So we can start from multi-brand, and after most part of them will be killed by big brands. And most part of distributors in the emerging market will be killed by big brands. It's reality, it's normal way, and I hope everybody, all distributors should understand it when they start to develop any brand in any country. What is it good or not for brand? For sure, for my opinion, better to have only mono-brand boutiques. Sure, it's better, but it is more expensive way how you can develop your, and it's more expensive, and additionally it's slow way how you can develop your brand. If you want to go fast and cheap, you can go to multi-brand, but you should understand for sure your competitors, what kind of brand this retailer have, and you will spend a lot of efforts to make him part of your team, not part of somebody else's team. And because you compare not only for the space, not by product, but as well, you compete for part of the brain of sales staff.
Hello. I would like just to explain my experience with the mono brands, because lately the company that I work, Alchemia, is moving into retail. And although it's a quite well-known company in Spain, it's quite hard and difficult to get that knowledge abroad. So the strategy that we are following, and it's been quite successful for us, is just to start with a mono brand. For instance, in Japan, in June, we opened a kind of showroom at the Imperial Hotel, which it could be considered a monobrand shop. And our target is just to be present at Isetan and Takashimaya department stores, which are high-end department stores. And the expert distributor that we have there told us that in order to be respected and admired for the shoppers in the department stores, you have to have a monobrand shop. Otherwise, it's impossible to go. So this strategy began, and I'm following that even in the United States, and I think it works out quite well. So to me, my experience, I will suggest everyone to start a monobrand. I know that it's difficult to find an investor, because in those cases usually it's done by the local distributor, but to me it works out very well.
Well, we have finished. Yeah, please, please.
One moment. About Japan, you should know one strange and interesting things about department store in Japan. Do you know something about gaisho? Gaisho sales. So high-end customers never come to department store, never. But if you are in department store, you could be part of gaisho team. Gaisho, it's like somebody who comes to the houses of the customers and present your product. And this gaisho has right to choose whatever they want. So if you want to be successful in Japan, you should go to gaisho team, and you should ensure them to offer your product to high-end society. In other hand, you will have your multi-brand, mono-brand store, and you will sell nothing. Just pay attention on it.
Just a question about luxury brands and so on. How important are limited edition to differentiate, or because at the end we talk about really high targets that they can afford big amounts of money, but then the product can be a standard product. So how important is are limited edition in your collection?
Behavior to be exceptional. So it works very, very well because people always want to have something what nobody else can have. Luxury is not something what you really need to buy. And limited edition collection works excellent. But it should be really limited edition and it should be really exceptional. So if you produce some collection which is real pieces of art, you can make this limited edition and it will work very well.
Okay, I'm going to, oh yes, oh good. Sorry, I just feel like I'm on a catwalk.
Thank you. Just a question. How do you manage counterfeiting fakes with all these premium brands, luxury brands? Because most of them are copy counterfeited. So how do you manage this problem? Because really it's a big problem for all the premium luxury brands, especially in these countries like China, Russia, Ukraine, all these places. Where do you...
It's a very good question, but Carrera absolutely doesn't have this problem. Completely not, because our production is very complicated. And I found some fake product in Turkey, for example, but it was ugly and disgusting and only 20% less price than we are. So we just have this know-how and our product handmade, fully handmade, and it is very difficult to repeat. To repeat it, you should have same level of experience of the worker, and it's simply impossible for Carrera.
No, not in terms of production, but in terms of communication, yes. Counterfeiting is a very big problem because it's particularly difficult to be managed on the internet. Some of our clients try to use codes, RFIDs, tools to identify exactly a single product and go to the internet to check if it was true. Was a real product. The point is that it's important for a brand to have a clear position in terms of what they sell on the internet and how do they present the products to show exactly how is the real product, because a lot of people try to buy this kind of products online, don't understand that they are buying a counterfeit product. So also in terms of communication, you need to have a clear strategy to fight the counterfeiting, also communicating.
This is actually probably because we are having jewelry brand now being a speaker, but being true, if we were talking about apparel, that would be really a huge topic to talk about, because even the major brands, I mean, of course you can say, oh, I'm being copied, which is fantastic. I'm really famous and popular, but when it comes to the numbers, you're losing real sales. I mean, maybe, as you are saying, in your case, it is really, really hard to get a perfect copy because of being craft-made and also because it is so singular, but there is definitely some markets that suffer from this. Okay, we are a little bit ahead of time, but I think we can go closing. Let me just mention what I found very interesting to talk about the subject of luxury brands. There are some managerial principles for luxury brands that I found in almost every study about luxury brands. The first and the most important is the superior customer experience. Like you mentioned it in your study, and whenever you go in the world, I think if we talk about top-end premium brands, it is something that you have to create a relationship and to bring this experience. The flawless retail management, we spoke about it. So this should be your brand. You're responsible starting from the shop you have. The people who are working for you are there, and also how you get afterwards on social networks somebody who is answering you. And people excellence also. It means that brands are investing more in top management from top to down. So everybody in the company should live this brand experience to be able to transmit it somewhere. So this is it for this seated on the table discussion we are going then have, and we have the president of Freshenet company and the president of the Forum of Leading Brands Association. Here he's joining us now and he's going to share a few comments with you. José Luis Bonet, please.
Lo primero es disculparme por no haber podido participar en la jornada porque tenía un compromiso en Madrid ineludible, pero en todo caso sí también me comprometí a venir a la hora de la clausura, al menos pues a mostrar mi satisfacción porque se haya producido esta jornada, dado que yo creo que al país, a España concretamente, es lo que ahora le interesa más esto. Yo creo que el foro de marcas renombradas españolas, que nació aquí en Barcelona hace 15 años, porque unos cuantos empresarios entendimos que el futuro del país no pasaba por el ladrillo especulativo, que es un modelo que se ha visto cómo se ha derrumbado estrepitosamente y que quizá más estrepitosamente de lo que debiera, porque la construcción es una cosa muy saludable y el mundo inmobiliario también, pero los excesos se pagan. Y en cambio entendíamos que el futuro pasaba por la economía productiva con marca por delante y proyección universal. Y esto pues resulta que es así, porque si España ahora está empezando a salir de la crisis, es porque tiene un cierto tejido empresarial en el país que ha seguido este camino, este modelo. Economía productiva con marca y proyección universal. Y esto es el foro, y por eso el foro se ha consolidado como una institución interesante para el país y que está trabajando para él, a su servicio, ¿no? Pero yo ya me gustaría adelantarme a lo que viene y decir que si es verdad que España ha empezado a tener posición internacional, solo ha empezado, pero ha empezado a tener posición internacional, le conviene mucho elevar el nivel y eso tiene mucho que ver con el lujo. En ese sentido, el glamour es necesario y las marcas de lujo pues son las que son la punta de lanza. Y por esto mismo yo me felicito de que se haya hecho esta jornada, porque lo que hace es visibilizar o poner en valor esta cuestión. Es decir, que hay que apuntar alto. Hay que apuntar alto y los que por fortuna tenemos ya una cierta posición internacional, pues debemos esforzarnos en ese apuntar alto. Y es lo que yo creo que hay que hacer en los próximos 10 años. Por tanto, creo que esto hay que decirlo de alguna manera, por lo menos empezarlo a decir y practicarlo. Y en ese sentido, jornadas como esta, pues apuntan el camino. Por tanto, nada más, yo agradecerle su participación y una vez más expresar mi satisfacción porque esta jornada haya tenido lugar en este magnífico salón del náutico, que es uno de los sectores que realmente ha sido muy afectado por la crisis, pero que aguanta el tipo, como puede verse en un salón como este. Por tanto, muchas gracias.
Bueno, para mí como presidente del salón, de verdad, muchísimas gracias de que hayáis estado aquí con nosotros, que habéis elegido este marco tan maravilloso para poder hablar de vuestras cosas. La ilusión que le pone nuestro presidente además de las marcas renovables, que es José Luis Bonet, del que siempre le oímos escuchar cosas positivas sobre esto. Para nosotros, bueno, pues es de mucho agradecer, pues el que estemos aquí juntos, ¿no? I don't know what to say more. I know that some of you you don't speak Spanish. This is the next step you should do, because la marca renovable, la marca de España if you don't know how to pronounce this, it's going to be a little bit difficult. No? As a president of Salón Náutico for the boat show, I am really very glad to have you here today. With this sun, with this climate, with this breeze, no? This air, fresh air, and with this beautiful place, no? It's not bad, no? I think could be better, but I think it's not place. And to thank you for have been selected chosen this place, and to have had the way to discuss all the things involved in that. Thank you very much.
So please, whenever you want, we should just go to the Rodman stand, and we keep on chatting about, I think, very many interesting topics we discussed. Thank you very much for the speakers and for the assistants. Thank you.